Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Grab a hold of that vine, swing right on in my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. What the fork is for dinner? Well, today we're gonna sit there and make a Memphis style chicken mac and cheese. So let's go ahead and jump right on in on the recipe. So we're gonna be needing some of that Memphis Magic Dust dry rub that I showed y'all how to make. So get your jar out of that. And you're gonna need either chicken breast, chicken legs, or chicken thighs, but some sort of chicken. So that's what I have in this bag here. I'm gonna get out what my husband and I would need for this Memphis style chicken. Now, it's really simple. You place whatever chicken part you wanted. Now, if it was for me, I'd be doing it in breast meat. But I'm doing it for my husband, and he really likes the dark meat. And he pulled out thighs and drumsticks, so that's what we're going with. We're going with the dark meat. I'm sorry. Now, go ahead and grab your Memphis Magic Dust Dry Rub. Open your jar up. Now, I'm just going to grab a spoon, which happens to be a measuring spoon, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit there and sprinkle it right over the top of my chicken, just as such. And give it a good sprinkling. Don't be too cheap on how you sprinkle it. We're gonna want a good crust on the chicken, and besides that, it really gives the chicken a splendid taste. So I'm just gonna sit there and give one more sprinkling, and then I'm just gonna set this down. I'm gonna take my hands and we're just gonna sit there and give it a good press. Make sure it sticks to the meat. So, oh yeah. Now, just go ahead and turn your legs and stuff all over. Such as that. Now, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Okay, I washed my hands. I'm gonna grab that Memphis Magic Dust. I'm gonna grab my spoon, and we're just gonna sit there and simply repeat. I'm gonna sit there and give a good sprinkling over each one of the chicken pieces. And we're gonna again rub all the seasoning in. So okay, now I'm just gonna sit there, and again I'm gonna take my hands and we're just gonna sit there and pat all this Memphis Magic rub right onto the chicken. And then again, I'm gonna go over to the sink and wash my hands, and we'll take it from there. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, the oven's preheated at 350 degrees, and we're gonna sit there and cook this roughly about 20 minutes on this side. Then I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna flip the chicken over, and we're gonna put it back in and cook it for an additional 20 to 25 more minutes. So off to the hot oven this goes. Now, while my chicken's in the oven baking, I sat there and went into my pantry. Now, I'm gonna cheat while making this. If you don't want to have canned macaroni and cheese, which I truly understand, not all canners will have this on their shelves, but I do, and I'm choosing to go ahead and grab my Velveeta and cheese, the shells one. I'll leave a link up there in the corner of the video here in the iCard, and I'll show you how you can make your very own Velveeta shells and cheese, macaroni and cheese. And then while I was back there, I know I was going to be needing some barbecue sauce, so I found one of the last jars of the Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use that up, because what is that one? Oh wow, that one's from 2015. So yeah, we gotta get using that one up. I still have some of our Memphis Dust staying out on the counter here, just in case we might have to add a little bit of this Memphis Magic Dust to our chicken. So I'm just letting you know, this is fast food on the Urban Homestead. Our chicken has been in the oven for 20 minutes. I'm gonna bring it out, and we're gonna sit there and do what needs to be done next. So let me go ahead. Let me grab it right up. Oh yeah. Out of the hot oven. Ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness, does that look good. Now, I'm gonna quick open up my jar of Sweet Baby Ray's. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah. Open that up. I'm gonna grab a spoon. I have a spoon. Now I'm just gonna go and grab some of my Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. I'm gonna give a few good dollops on each piece, and then we're gonna spread it out, and then we're gonna flip it over. So okay, I'm gonna go grab another utensil because I don't want to cross-contaminate. I grab my silicone brush. Now, let's just go ahead and brush each piece all up with the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce that we just put on. And then we're gonna flip these over, And then we're going to put them back in the oven. And at the other side, crisp up and brown up just like this side. And we're going to cook it for 20 minutes. So let me quick finish spreading all this barbecue sauce over each piece. I'm just gonna set my silicone brush off to the side here. I'm gonna grab either tongs or some forks. I have my tongs. Now, let's go ahead and flip each piece over. And yeah, I'm gonna be choosing to spread on some more of this Memphis Magic Dust onto this other side. So there you go. Gonna put my tongs down. Now I'm gonna grab my Memphis Magic Dust. And grab a measuring spoon just to help. Grab some of this magic Memphis dust. Okay, that should be good. Oh. I'm gonna use the side of the tongs to help kind of push it down onto the meat so it all adheres, so we get a nice crust on the outside of the chicken. And off to the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes at 350 degrees. So, off to the oven. Now folks, I know somebody's gonna sit there and comment on the macaroni and cheese here. Now, you can make homemade macaroni and cheese and use it however you want. I'm just letting you know this is the mac and cheese that I'm using in this recipe. Now you also can just go right down to the grocery store and buy one of them little famous little boxes of Velveeta shells and cheese and use that just as well too. So, just because I'm using my canned version of Velveeta shells and cheese, it doesn't mean you have to do it either. So, you choose which way you want to do your macaroni and cheese. Now, when you're cooking chicken, we should always check the internal temp. We should not just go by the looks on the outside of the bird. We want to make sure the internal temperature of a well-cooked chicken is 170 degrees. So be sure to do an internal check of their temperature, please. So when I bring it back out after the 20 minutes of it being in the oven, I'm gonna sit there, grab my thermometer. We're gonna put it in the thickest part of the meat. We're gonna sit there and give the coating of the barbecue sauce, and we're gonna sit there and put that back in the oven, and we're just gonna let the barbecue sauce caramelize and cook until we have reached the temperature between 165 and 170. I would prefer if y'all would sit there and take it to 170. Okay, I'm gonna sit there and grab the chicken out of the oven, and we're gonna sit there and spread barbecue seasoning on this side as well. So let me go grab that chicken. Look at that. Oh my goodness, like I say, just because it may look like it's done, and here I am making a mess, doesn't mean that it is done. So I'm just gonna rest my silicone brush right there. So let's go ahead, get our little thermometer, and let's do an internal temperature. Now, like I said, you're gonna want to do the thickest part, and you do not want to hit any bone. And right now it's registering 118. So 122. We'll say 122, so which is great because we have more barbecue seasoning. Now, I'm just gonna leave that inserted. I'm gonna unwrap enough of it because when I put it back in the oven, I want this to sit there and tell me when the turnout temp reaches at least 165, or what I would prefer, 170. So let's go ahead and let's spread the rest of the barbecue seasoning. Take your silicone brush and brush it all over the chicken, making sure you cover all the chicken because we're going to be putting this back in the oven, and we just want a good crust to develop on the outside of the chicken. So I'm going to continue brushing this all on. We'll be back through the magic of the video. And I just have a wee bit left over in my jar, so I'm just gonna sit there and scrape my jar and get this last little bit out and go kind of over these few bare spots I may have on my chicken. Now I'm going to grab my silicone brush and kind of just dab it up and down until we kind of get it all on there. Okay, now back off To the oven we go for an additional, I'll say, 10 minutes or until you reach the internal temp of 165, or what I would prefer you all to cook it to, 170. So off to the oven. Right now the internal temp is reading 134. So I set my temperature gauge up to sound off when it gets up to 165. So as soon as my temperature gauge sounds off, I'll bring the chicken back out. As you hear, my chicken has reached the internal temperature of 165, so let's go retrieve it. Ooh, wait till you see this. Whoa. Now, we're just gonna sit there and now patiently wait 10 minutes because we're gonna want all the juices to distribute back up into the chicken. So patiently wait 10 minutes, please. Now, before we go on with the recipe, so if you liked what you saw here today, please give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. If you're not yet a subscriber, go up, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell. That way you'll always be notified every time I do put out a new video. And as always, you stay happy cooking, but better yet, happy eating. Y'all come back now. You hear?